guys, we're going to Atlanta again. Just kidding.
Psych.
We're going to Melbourne for a friend's surprise birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John.
Failed again, guys.
What do you
He's
mean?
literally not liking my stuff.
What are you talking about?
He's doing it
Of course
again.
I'm not liking. I'm
Okay,
loving.
guys, you need to comment below.
I'm hitting love.
Has Michael been a bad
hitting
husband
love.
or a good husband?
Not like. I'm better.
Hey guys, just finished a good workout, trying to be more fit, more healthier. So now I'm about to head out to Publix to make more broccoli salad. Gonna be making strawberry and blueberry smoothies with almond milk. Trying to be more healthier this year. Here's the finished product. Yums. So if you all don't already know, Trello is an amazing platform for project management. So if you're like me and you have a lot of multiple projects that you're working on, Trello is a great way to keep a list of what we call backlogs, things that you have to do. And then from there, you kind of pull from your backlog and choose what task you want to perform this week. So it's a great way to prioritize what you need to do, what needs to get done. And all you do is you can color code it. So for me, what I do is green is like LR admin things. Purple is like things for my books that I'm working on. Orange is for my personal things that I have to do. Red is related to Living Revelations weekly tasks. Blue is Michael and Gabby. And then yellow is related to my Bible studies that I run and the Bible studies book that I do.
Guys, guess what I just noticed? Here is a toilet paper right here. And here's an empty roll. And I'm thinking to myself, why is this not here? And so I called up the boo thing, the sugar boo. And apparently she doesn't like changing those things. So I'm gonna have a free pass to throw my towel on the floor.
So for me, it's been a journey. It wasn't like a one-day thing that I knew what my purpose was. I knew growing up in high school, writing was the last thing I ever thought, because I didn't like writing. I don't know, I never thought I was good enough and whatnot. But when I was in college, I felt like the Lord was calling me to write, and I was so scared and so nervous. I still remember when I posted my first blog, I didn't even want to go on social media, because I'm like, I don't know what people are going to say. But as I was faithfully obeying the Lord, I found that it started with family and friends. They started telling me like, wow, that was so spot on. Like, I really needed to hear that. And then it went on outside of my friends and family to like strangers, and I started posting on Instagram, and that's kind of what opened the door to kind of reach worldwide. And now I just get testimonies from, people all over different areas in Asia, Europe, that just kind of, come to me and tell me like, wow, this is really ministering to me. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And the Lord just started opening more doors for me to also speak. And I never saw myself as well as a speaker, speaking and whatnot. Just grew up very like closed person. But as the Lord opened those doors, I just faithfully obeyed. And I realized that it's not about our strength, but in our weakness, He becomes our strength and He glorifies Himself. And so as I just like walked out and obeyed the Lord, He led me and showed me more of what my purpose was. And I started having a heart and burden specifically towards like college students. Because I know for me, growing up in college, I just grew up with my family and friends saying, you're either going to be like a doctor or do something in finance and law, something that makes good money, which is not bad if, the Lord is calling you to that, because God does use people in those careers. But I know for me, I was pursuing that not because I felt the Lord was in it, but it was because of security based and what I grew up in. But as God was growing me and using me in these means of like writing and speaking and glorifying the Lord, He started putting a burden in my heart to really open the eyes of other people and show them that God actually created you with a purpose. Because like sometimes we think we have to create our own purpose, where in Jeremiah 1:5, God says, before I made you in your mother's womb, I chose you, I set you apart for a special work. And that's just the passion that He's given me, is to really encourage and empower others to walk into, as you do life with Jesus, He will show you more and more what your purpose is and define it more. And it starts with just, the passion that God has, or a burden. It starts with that. And when you run with it, He will clarify it and He will be the one that will open the doors. Just left the She Acts conference, and it was such an amazing time. I was able to be one of the panelists there, and it was just such a blessing to not only bless others, but also to receive. The guest speakers at the conference were amazing. We had Carolyn Roberts and Obioma, and wow, did God just move. And it was just such a timely conference. It was basically about empowering women to really walk into obedience in the Lord and to take action in what God is asking you to do. And I thought it was just so timely because I am believing that this is the year where God is going to accelerate many ministries, and He wants to propel many of us to our callings, but it's going to require us to obey the Lord, to let go of things that He's asking us to let go, and to walk out in faith. You know, many times we want to see it first, see the plan laid out, then obey God, but God's wanting our faith first, our step of faith. And guys, I can only testify that there's never been a time in my life where I've regretted what God's asked me to do. But yeah, it was such a timely message. But you guys can also follow their page, Bibles and Brunch. Just an amazing ministry in what they're doing. And I'm also rocking the Living Revelations Be Bold, Be Courageous shirt. So you're welcome to also go to livingrevelations.com and buy one.
So we are just... What's going on actually, Gabby? What's going on right now?
Today's my last day at Rip It, letting it go. So,
Wow.
Yeah, the Lord's just been calling me to, you know, that He's taking a lot of us, including myself, to a new season, transition season, and calling me to full-time ministry, giving myself to Living Revelations. And it's like a bittersweet moment, you know, because I've been here so long. This is my first internship in college, and the Lord has taken care of me through this job. And it's just, you know, it's hard letting go of the people here and being here all the time. But I'm also excited to know that, you know, the Lord has a new season, and there's always seasons for everything.
Amen.
But I'm glad to, because my hubby came to support and love me.
I love you. That's it, y'all.
Guys, legit, there's 4 words that I hate that Michael says. And he's laughing. Every time he says, I have to poop, it takes forever, and he just said it, and we're running late to a leadership meeting. Yeah.
Babe, I did it.
This guy.
Babe, I did it. I did it. Hey, look at that. That was 5 minutes.
See, you can poop fast, but he just chooses not to
Only
when we are not
Only
rushed.
when I go to a Mexican
He doesn't
buffet.
care to ignore me. Hey guys, so we just left church. Michael's driving. Car talks with Michael and Gabby. I hope you guys are loving this, by the way. If you are, yeah, car talks with Michael and Gabby. And if you guys have been loving the car talks, let us know. So we'll do more of this. Because we're kind of hesitating to, should we do a car talk? Yeah. But we really wanted to share with you all. This is more so for married couples. I mean, me and Michael, we've been married for a little over a month. But even getting married a little over a month, we're still learning that we still have to practice communication and being intentional with one another. Things have just been kind of tense with me last week because I was leaving my job, a lot of things going on. But what was this, 2 nights ago, we had kind of a little bit of an argument on something so silly and stupid, but it was about Michael's iPad case, about him picking it up, and I basically was yeah, babe, you can just get it Sunday. And he's no, I want to get tomorrow. I'm well, you're not going to even use it. And that started an argument, just a simple thing like that. But so in the beginning it was kind of tense, but then Michael kind of stepped up and kind of communicated it. And I realized that the reason why he got upset and tense was because previously he was just kind of annoyed that I repeat things a lot, which caused him to show an attitude. Because I was upset because you were quick to show an attitude and whatnot. But from there we realized that, communication is important, communicating it so we understand the why and how can we be a better solution. And I know, Michael, you want to talk a little bit about solving the problem.
We always entered our relationship before marriage was always about communication, and we did that great, a lot.
Right.
And I believe it helped produce great communication early on in our marriage as well, because we also mentioned a little bit about that in our first vlog video with the Atlanta trip, and that Gabby often would, I don't know, I think you said you would accuse me of certain things, and then I would tell you, babe, just look for it first before you accuse me, so that then it would be found.
Okay. No, I remember. So what Michael was saying, in one of the vlogs was, Michael told me that he doesn't like it when I ask him because I lose things a lot, and he was hey babe, when you ask me, you feel pressured as if I'm accusing Michael of losing my stuff. And because he communicated that, I was intentional with like, okay, before I ask Michael where it is, let me do my part and look so I don't have to bug him.
Yes.
And so that was a solution of communicating it. Because sometimes we just hold it in like, oh, it's okay, but then we blow up because we're already annoyed.
Well, that was my mistake. My mistake was that we started off great with the communication, but at some point, I started not necessarily communicating some things that were in fact annoying me, and so that was an issue. I didn't nip that right in the bud, and so what ended up happening was that I did express a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of a facial attitude, but worse,
a lot of
a lot of it. But worse though, it was before the presence of family too.
Right.
And so that's where I really had to check my heart and like, okay, like what's going on? Because in the moment of those things, when emotions can be high, you may forget the root of it all. Like, how did we get to this point?
Right.
And so the good thing was that I had an option. I can either be part of the solution or I can just
Stay quiet.
turn away, stay quiet, but that would only produce further problems,
and bitterness
down the road. And then soon enough, if you keep on insisting in that, you'll just find yourself in a place of darkness and you're like, okay, how did we get here in the first place?
Right.
So we ended up, I was just like, Lord, like, it was so funny because like Gabby was folding her clothes and finding things. I was doing my thing, and we're in one room because we currently don't have a place, and so it's pretty funny. Normally, we would probably like, let me just go into this room or this room.
I'm glad we're together though.
I'm glad too, because it really helped me to just realize like, okay, Lord, I need your help here. So I just quietly like, Lord, what happened that is causing me to also show an attitude? And then he started showing me and revealing the things that have caused me to express that. And then we were able to talk about it. We came to a solution, and we were just all the better for it. We simply forgave one another, and we're able to learn through that process. I'm trying to remember like a key word for it, but right now it's not coming to mind. But just be intentional about communicating every aspect. Just because some things that like you may know, your spouse may not know.
We can't assume. You can't assume about
so
it.
it's always great to just like
communicate.
Be communicative. And plus, like when you're in Jesus, a lot of those things too should be dead. Like we should be growing in the Lord, like together. There should be love abounding towards one another.
Right. Can I share one thing real quick?
Yeah.
We actually came from service, and one thing that I love that our pastor said today is, for those who know what communion is, we take communion to get in right standing with the Lord. But he was talking about communion is also with our spouse. We have to have right standing with each other and commune and be in unity. And many times it can be easy to neglect that or forget about it and not prioritize. But if God's already asking us to love others, like how much more should we be loving our spouse and being in unity and right relationship?
And just to clarify though, what she meant by right standing is that the pastor was talking about the communion verse in 1 Corinthians and how Paul does not praise the Corinthian church just because when they come together it should be for the better, but in fact it was for the worse. And so that's what she meant. We are already in right standing with the Lord as Christians, but in that particular situation we have to make sure that like, hey, when we come together it should be for the better. And if that's the way for communion, it should also be that way for marriage. It should also be that way for fellowship. There should never be any kind of dissension or any kind of place. Like if you leave the room, like I love it how my teacher at Jesus School, they say it. It's like, guys, like if you leave the secret place, like alone time with the Lord, praying to God, if you leave there not like enjoyable or not like loving Jesus even more, then you need to get back in there. Because like your heart should be smiling. And so if that's happening there, it should be happening and reflective in all of our lives. In every area of our life. And so just be on the lookout. We will be having a more like fully engaged video in regards to being intentional with your spouse. That's gonna be fun.
So communication for you married couples.
But yeah, communicate. Don't hold things in, and don't be afraid. Like just make the point clear. Like if you want to be solving the situation, don't think that if you try to solve it, the spouse is going to shut you down. like you can't have those fears. Don't presume things.
Right,
Like
right.
just say, like, make your intentions known.
In a nice way, by the way, when
Yeah,
you
in a nice
communicate
way.
it, because attitude is not good. You
Yeah.
want to. And one thing I did love about Michael is he communicated in such a loving way, and at the end, like, you really made the initiative for a sincere apology. It wasn't just like, oh, sorry. It was more like, hey, like, come here, like, and you're sincerely sorry, and you took the initiative to be the solution.
I
which-
teared up a little bit, guys. A lot of it, actually.
No, it was a little
Everyone's
bit.
like, babe, why are you crying? I'm like, us? Like, yeah, I allowed that to fester. I allowed something that I didn't communicate to fester, and it's not Christian-like. It's not Christ-like.
I love him.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Hey guys, so Gabby just tried to airdrop over to her laptop, but she can't find it. And so she sees this, Daddy. She's like, babe, I see your dad's iPad, but not yours. But she doesn't know that, hey Siri, what's my name?
You're Michael, but you asked me to call you Daddy.
That's
What the
right.
heck?
That's right, y'all. Siri knows to call me Daddy. Oh yeah.
Oh, calzone, guys.
Calzone and stromboli. And your boy Rigatoni. No, I'm just kidding.
Guys, Michael's smirking because I just posted something on Instagram and he liked it.
Alright, guys. Look at how Gabby eats ice cream. Isn't that something? She bites the ice cream.
I can't stand melted or soggy melted ice cream.
Yeah, by the way, guys, so when this ice cream begins to sog, that's free ice cream for me. So this is a blessing of the Lord.
So this is how Michael eats his ice cream. Ew. Yeah. I don't lick my ice cream. Do you guys lick your ice cream or do you guys bite your ice cream off?
We lick. Let's see.
Delicious food. Say hi, Mom. Benji took his hair tie off.
Sonic's the name, and speed is my game.